What's up, guys? So this is my Avengers Endgame review. Before I get into that, also have a bit of an unboxing as well. This literally just came in the mail, and I wanted to share this with you because I'm super keen that this came before I go see Endgame again. Let's figure out. Right, that's some yellow. Where's my? I know I have a knife for this sort of thing somewhere. I can't find it. It's alright. Let me just get this for a moment. Really? Oh, it's doing is ripping the lip off it. I want you to open. Oh, that's another. What the hell? Well, this one didn't get damaged in transport. Oh yeah. Sleeves are a bit tight, but that's okay. This is sick. Oh yeah, I'm 100% wearing this to the movies. The other good thing is it's not too thick, so I can sort of wear it whenever. I'm probably gonna wear this today, if I'm completely honest. I'm gonna take this off, be done with that. Click that back there. Oh yeah, this is good. This is good. So I'm likely not going to be wearing this. It's actually Thursday as I record this. So when you see me after the intro, I'll probably be wearing my Age of Ultron shirt with this hoodie. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow, but you'll see me in about like 20 seconds. Alright, so I've now seen Endgame twice, and so this is my official spoiler review. If you don't want things to be spoilt for you, if you still haven't seen Endgame, click off now because there are going to be spoilers pretty much from the get-go. There's a whole heap of references and stuff that I'm going to be pointing out and the rest. So if you don't want to have any spoilers, you have to click off right now. For everyone else, let's get straight into this. Obviously, this movie was extremely highly anticipated, and to say that it wasn't is just an outright lie. Opening night at my cinema alone, people got turned away because there just weren't enough seats like in the theatre. So when I came out of my showing on opening night, because I went to an earlier showing, so I've come out to like the big like actual like nighttime showing of it. which started at like 8 o'clock or something like that. And the line went from the ticket booth at one end of the cinema back to the sectioning off for actually going into the movie, then went up alongside that, down around out the door, down the disabled access ramp, back around and out into the car park, was the most amount of people I've seen at that cinema at any one time, period. But the fact that they were there for the same movie was kind of insane as well. So yeah, it was a very highly anticipated movie. I'm kind of glad that I got to go to opening night. Me and my friends had been planning that for weeks, so I definitely was lucky to be able to go and see it opening night at the local cinema. As for the actual movie itself, I have read a couple of articles online with people getting a bit antsy about one thing or another. People saying that like certain decisions seemed like cop-out moves and that there was no lead up to it, or other things that they thought were handled poorly. But I don't agree with any of those articles. So the one where it was like the cop-out move, that was the reveal at the end where Captain America decided to, once he'd finished putting all the stones away, he decided that he'd go back to 1942 and just live out a long and happy life with Peggy Carter as his wife. I think there was plenty of build up to that. Age of Ultron alone had a full scene dedicated to it, where Peggy herself says, "We can go home." And yeah, so yeah, I don't agree that there wasn't any build up to it. There was plenty of build up. Plus, throughout the film, the various references to him looking at his little pocket watch thing, compass, whatever it is, that had her photo in it, which is from the first Avenger, to him accidentally stepping into her office while she's in like the next room organizing stuff at S.H.I.E.L.D., etc., etc. But there's a whole host of things there that, I think led up very nicely to the fact that he then decided to go and live a full life with her. So that to me wasn't a cop-out move. I always sort of saw that coming. Also, with the end of Chris Evans's contract, I kind of knew that he was either going to die or go back in time. And especially with the fact that it was a time travel movie, as soon as it was like, oh yeah, we can go back in time and do things, and then he goes back to 2012 and then back to 1970, it's like, the next step is back to 1942, because his best girl owes him a dance still. Even in Winter Soldier, he said that he couldn't leave his best girl when she still owes him a dance. There's been plenty of build up. The other article where people were saying that things weren't handled well, there is an article saying that it was fat shaming with Fat Thor, but I'd like to point out that if it was fat shaming, it was doing that from Thor 1, because you've got Volstagg the Voluminous, which is his actual name, and the thing that Thor says that, the adventure that he had with Volstagg was related to food. So if anyone was fat shaming, it was that film. But even then, like that's just Volstagg, showing that Asgardians can be beefy lads and still absolutely kick ass. So when I saw Fat Thor on the screen, I was like, okay, this like obviously, the fact that he had let himself go from being like this like fine specimen that Gamora was stroking his muscles in Infinity War, to this larger lad, kind of funny. You sort of see him progress into this like state of denial in his depression, and then at the end, when he like is wielding both Mjolnir and Stormbreaker and like summons the lightning and it plats his beard, I was like, oh, that's the King Thor costume, which I'd been really keen to see when it was, like pretty much the entire time I've been waiting for King Thor. I thought they were gonna like maybe give him that costume at the end of Ragnarok when he like takes the throne, and then he didn't. So I was really, really happy to see it in Endgame. Let's start at the beginning of the film then. Now that I've sort of gotten pressing issues out of the way, I guess. There's a whole host of references. I'm basically going to have to wait till it comes out on DVD so I can watch it basically frame by frame, with my like tablet and my phone, so I can write down notes on all the references, because there's just that many, from something as subtle as on the Benatar right at the beginning when Tony Stark offers some food out of the little packet to Nebula, being a reference to him offering blueberries to Captain America and Bruce Banner in the first Avengers movie, when they're on the helicarrier together, through to Captain America's acknowledgement of how annoying his own catchphrase is, to Tony Stark basically tearing shreds off Cap for everything that he said in the sort of lead up bit in Age of Ultron, like the bit in Age of Ultron that led into Civil War, and he just takes that entire scene where Tony Stark first said Endgame, and he takes everything Cap says and says, you said this and it didn't happen, you said this and it didn't happen, there's a whole host of things. So in, I believe it's August, I looked it up and I'm pretty sure the DVD release is in August. When that comes out on DVD, I will be doing a Easter eggs and references video for this film, because I'm really going to need to be able to just sit down and write as I'm watching it, be able to pause it when I need to write things down, with timestamps and everything. That's going to be quite an undertaking, but that'll be in August, I believe, when the DVD comes out. Things that I liked the most. I liked that Cap and Iron Man were able to solve their differences from Civil War, because it's like the first time they'd actually seen each other in a we've got to save the universe kind of way since Civil War. So it was kind of fun to see them sort of tear each other apart and then build each other back up again, to be like, look, we need to get this done. And I think a large part of that was when Tony helped him go back and get Pym Particles and the Tesseract from 1970. So yeah, I really enjoyed their chemistry on screen. I think out of all the characters, they're the ones that pretty sure they're the ones that spend the most time on screen together. I liked when they started raining fire in the last battle that Rocket like jumped on top of Groot to protect him, because Rocket was there when Groot dusted, and so it kind of, I don't know, showed that Rocket has a soft side, I guess, which is a thing we haven't really seen. I mean, it's kind of it's been obvious that it's there, because he like gets like you can tell that he's covering up some insecurities or whatever with his wry humor, but no, I really enjoyed that bit, giving him a more rounded character, and the bit where he's the one that slaps Thor into like, we need to do this, when they're on Asgard. I thoroughly enjoyed the bit where you see Mjolnir lift up, and then it comes flying through and knocks Thanos off top of Thor, and you're like, oh yeah, cool. Thor like summoned Mjolnir to knock Thanos off the top of him, and then you see it sort of stop and come back, and you're like, Thor's gonna catch it, and then it's Captain America that catches it. When I saw that on opening night, everyone just let out like a collective cheer. But I sort of knew that it was coming, not because it happens in the comics, which it does, but because Joss Whedon, the guy who directed Age of Ultron, actually said, I think it was at a Comic-Con panel or something like that, a fan asked him why Captain America wasn't able to lift the hammer in Age of Ultron, and he answered that with, is he unworthy, or did he just stop? So when Thor said, I knew it, I was pretty much in agreement at that exact particular moment. Like, I knew it too. Like, I knew this was coming, because being that it's a separate universe, they can make up whatever, you know, they want to a degree, sort of thing. Like, they don't have to follow the comic book arcs to a T, sort of thing. They can be like, oh no, that happens in this universe, but it doesn't happen in this one. So yeah. What were some other good bits? Professor Hulk was kind of polarizing. I've seen online. Especially since at the beginning of the film, he's like using the Hulkbuster armor because him and Hulk are still having issues, and then after 5 years, he's there taking selfies and wearing t-shirts as the Hulk, and he explains it away like, I spent 5 years in a gamma lab. I put the brains and the brawn together, and like that's the explanation that we get for Professor Hulk. It's like, oh yeah, no, I just needed to go back into the lab and do this. And if that was the case, then why, you know, like they could have potentially done that back in 2008 in the Hulk movie, because he was in a science lab with like duplications of his blood that they were using to try and make a cure for the Hulk. But anyway, just nitpicking there really. Yeah, other than that, I didn't really have a problem with Professor Hulk. Gotta agree with Valkyrie though. I do prefer him either of the other ways. Professor Hulk was just kind of like, I think they tried to make him too funny, I guess. Like, it just sort of seemed like they'd taken the like sheer strength of Hulk and turned it into the running gag for the film, which I didn't. I mean, I of all the things, that's probably the one thing I didn't enjoy. Because it would have been really cool to see Bruce actually be able to tap into the full power of the Hulk when he's in battle, and like lose control a little bit. Still, obviously, being able to retain his intelligence. Like, I don't see why retaining his intelligence means that he has to become a joke sort of thing. But I liked when they were explaining their rules for time travel in the film, and they sort of said, like, you know, if you go back in time because you're going back there, everything that led you to go back there has to happen that way. So it's like set in stone. There's no ripple effect, there's no butterfly effect, like none of that's going to happen, because in order for you to be able to go there and need to go there, all that has to happen the same way, sort of thing. Which then makes me wonder, well, you know, like Rocket and Thor went back to 2013 and Loki was in prison, and then we see him in 2012 get the Space Stone and escape. So did he take himself to Asgard and lock himself up? Or did he escape to Thanos, be like, here's the Space Stone as promised, sorry that I lost your scepter, but here's, you know, I've delivered as promised. Like, becomes a bit of a head scratcher, but I think they sort of deliberately left that up in the air so that they could have a story to tell in the Loki series on Disney Plus. Feel like that's what that is. I have a feeling that they're gonna be able to somehow rebuild Vision without the Mind Stone, so that he's going to be in the Disney, because he's in a Disney Plus show as well, and then Winter Soldier and Falcon could be with involving Falcon trying to become comfortable as Captain America. I think could be one of the major plot points in that. But yeah, no. For the most part, other than everything else that I've said, for the most part, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Tony Stark's funeral scene is really a who's who of his films, sort of thing. So, like, obviously, right up front, there's his daughter, Pepper, and Happy, and Rhodey, because they're, like, the Iron Man movies supporting cast, except for Morgan, but that's, like, his daughter. You expect him to be up the front there. Behind them, Cap, it's Cap, Thor, Hulk, Cap, Thor, and Hulk, because they're like the other major players in the Avengers. Hawkeye's up further with his family. Then you've got like Scott Lang, Hope, Janet, and Hank Pym, and like the Ant-Man family there. You've got the Guardians without Gamora, which is really confusing, because does that mean that when Iron Man snapped away all of Thanos' forces, that included 2014 Gamora? Or is that why Quill was searching for her when Thor takes his bag and jumps on the couple of questions that it gave me. Not as many as I've seen online, but a couple. And then, yeah, I had noticed that Harley Keener was in the group. He's like all out the back, standing off to the right by himself. And as soon as it had been announced that he was going to be in the film, I was kind of hoping that he'd like come in as like Iron Lad or something, and like give a possibility to there being like a Young Avengers sort of thing. Because with Cassie being as old as Cassie is now, she's at the right age to take on the mantle of stature. Harley Keener could take over as Iron Lad, and then yeah, you could you know, Morgan would eventually be able to do something as well. Yeah, a Young Avengers movie would be kind of cool, I think. I guess it'd all just depend on whether, you know, they actually have a good enough story to tell or not. I'm not going to say that I want it, but like, if they make it, I'm going to watch it, sort of thing. But yeah, no, I was kind of hoping that he'd have more of a role, I guess, than just standing up the back, not saying a word during the funeral thing. Yeah. That's pretty much all I've got. All in all, I'd probably give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Purely because there were things that I'm like, I don't really like the Hulk, primarily. I didn't like how he was treated. Like, even when he gets astral projected out of his Hulk form, Bruce Banner just being Bruce Banner was better than Bruce Banner being the Hulk. Yeah. But yeah, until I do my Easter eggs and references video, that's pretty much all I've got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I will leave my social medias in the description down below. Make sure you go and check those out. If you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit the subscription button and the notification bell so that you are notified when I upload a new video. And until next time, guys, night to A2. I'll check you later.